core faculty for the College of Health Sciences and Public Policy at Walden University. And in this video, I'm going to be going over Sustainable Development Goal number 5. This goal is an extremely important goal because this is addressing the most vulnerable populations all across the world. So let's get started here. What is, in fact, the specific wording for the Sustainable Development Goal number 5? Well, here it is. Achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. And this is extremely important and at the heart of understanding how to better address a lot of the issues. So if we're thinking about what is really important, and I'm going to go over the specific goals in a minute here, but just thinking about how COVID-19 disrupted some of women's participation. So if you look all around the world at leadership, about a third, only a third of leadership is covered by women. So in fact, in parliaments, that's a lot lower, so it's about a quarter. If you look at local government, the third is the number. So national parliaments, it's about a quarter. Now, this is something that is a very serious topic and extremely important to understand. Violence against women is something that is on the rise, especially because of the pandemic. And it persists at unacceptably high levels and is intensified by the pandemic. So about 1 in 3 women, 736 million worldwide, have been directly affected by physical and or sexual violence at least once in their lifetime. And so this is actually by the age of 15. So these numbers are staggering, and really is important to not only understand and grapple with, but also address so that our vulnerable populations are protected. And so about 10 million girls globally will be at risk of child marriage. Over the next decade, as a result of COVID-19, in addition, there's going to be 100 million who are projected to become child brides. So again, this is another serious issue that needs to be addressed. So the pandemic is just making everything worse because a lot of the unpaid domestic care work. This is squeezing women out of that labor force, the official labor force. And so already unpaid domestic labor was something that many women were engaged in, but that just increased 2.5 times because of the pandemic. So these are all not only more child marriages, but increased violence, decreased participation by women, and increased unpaid domestic work. These are the negative impacts of the pandemic, which is why it is even more crucial now than more than ever before to pay attention to these SDG goals. So this is, I just wanted to emphasize this on the slide, achieving gender equality and empowering all women and girls. So the targets, 6 targets. Number 1, ending discrimination against women and girls. Number 2, ending all violence against and exploitation of women and girls. Number 3, eliminating forced marriages and genital mutilation. Number 4, valuing unpaid care and promoting shared domestic responsibilities. Number 5, ensuring full participation in leadership and decision making. And number 6, universal access to reproductive rights and health. So these are extremely important areas to be covering and thinking about, not only because of targets that had already been set, but thinking about the pandemic and how some of these targets have kind of become worse because of this. So what do we need to pay attention to? 3 things. And I would argue that this is all applying to education as well. Giving women equal right to education is under also bringing protecting vulnerable populations. So equal rights to economic resources, property ownership, and financial services. So the means to production, all of these property ownership, these things that for generations in agrarian societies traditionally have been a part of under the purview of women. A lot of times is not the case anymore due to title passing in paternalistic societies. So that goes to the second means to achieve promoting empowerment of women. And this last part, this is my favorite, through technology. So empowering women through technology. Technology has become so much more user-friendly, but not only that, it's mobile. So it allows for instance, microlending. Microlending by the Grameen Bank, which was developed by Amartya Sen. And so this is something, these sorts of programs can then be promoted technologically in technologically savvy ways through electronics, mobile health, mHealth. This is another area. And then adopting and strengthening policies and enforceable legislation for gender equality. And this is crucial, this is key, because without policy, without practice, there is no way that we can make sure that all of these things are met. So that is a great place to kind of sum up everything that is packed into Sustainable Development Goal number 5. I hope this has provided you with the means to understand how to achieve some of these goals and how to provide gender equality. Thank you for listening.